Britain built an empire on wood, iron, and steel. She floated it across every ocean on Earth. 20 ships, warships, wrecks, wonders. A few are still sitting exactly where history left them. Let's start with the one that vanished for over a century. This is Endurance. She was Sir Ernest Shackleton's polar exploration ship. He used her to attempt the first crossing of Antarctica in 1914. She got trapped in pack ice. The ice slowly crushed her hull. The crew abandoned ship and camped on drifting ice for months. Then they made an 800-mile journey through brutal seas in a small lifeboat just to find help. Every single man survived. Endurance herself sank in 1915. She was lost for over a century. In 2022, a search team finally found her nearly 2 miles down in the Weddell Sea. Her name was still visible across the stern. This is HMS Campbelltown. She started life as an American destroyer called USS Buchanan. Britain got her in 1940 as part of a deal trading old ships for military bases. In 1942, she became the star of one of the boldest raids of the war. Disguised as a German vessel, she was packed with 4 tons of hidden explosives. She rammed straight into the dry dock gates at Saint-Nazaire, France. Hours later, while German officers were touring the wreck, the hidden charges detonated. The blast destroyed the dock for the rest of the war. 5 Victoria Crosses were awarded for the mission. It cost many lives, but it worked exactly as planned. This is HMS Hood. She was the pride of the Royal Navy between the wars, the largest warship in the world at the time. In 1941, she faced the German battleship Bismarck. A single hit found her ammunition magazine. She broke apart and sank in under 3 minutes. Of over 1,400 men aboard, only 3 survived. Her loss shocked the entire country. The Royal Navy was ordered to hunt down the Bismarck in revenge. They sank her within days. This is RMS Titanic. She was built in Belfast for the White Star Line. Everyone already knows how her story ends. What's less known is she nearly had a second disaster on day 1. She almost collided with another ship while leaving Southampton Harbour. 4 days later, she struck an iceberg. There weren't enough lifeboats for everyone aboard. Over 1,500 people died. She now rests in 2 pieces on the Atlantic seabed, found in 1985. She's since become one of the most recreated ships in gaming, appearing in Titanic, Honor and Glory, and endless Roblox simulations. This is HMS Erebus. She was a Royal Navy exploration ship, sent to find the Northwest Passage in 1845. She sailed under Sir John Franklin's doomed expedition. Every one of the 129 men aboard died. Erebus vanished completely. She became one of the greatest mysteries in British maritime history. For over 160 years, nobody knew where she was. In 2014, her wreck was finally found, remarkably intact on the Arctic seabed. The mystery was finally solved. This is HMS Terror. She was Erebus's sister ship, lost on that same doomed expedition. Same fate, same ice, same mystery. Her wreck wasn't found until 2016, 2 years after Erebus. She was in even better shape. Entire compartments were still sealed shut after 170 years underwater. Her story became the basis for the television series The Terror. This is Mary Rose. She was King Henry VIII's prized warship, built in 1510. In 1545, she sank right in front of him during a battle with the French. Nobody agrees exactly why. Maybe she was overloaded. Maybe a wave caught an open gun port. She went down in minutes, with most of her crew of around 500 men trapped aboard. She sat on the seabed for 437 years. In 1982, she was finally raised, live on television, watched by millions. Divers pulled up thousands of Tudor-era objects, preserved in the mud. She now sits in a museum in Portsmouth. This is HMS Prince of Wales. She was one of the Royal Navy's most modern battleships. In 1941, Japanese aircraft sank her alongside HMS Repulse off Malaya. It took under 2 hours. It happened just days after Pearl Harbor. It was one of the first times aircraft alone sank capital ships at sea. It changed naval warfare overnight. Every navy in the world took notice. Both ships remain on the seabed today, protected as war graves. This is RMS Lusitania. She was a fast, luxurious ocean liner. In 1915, a German U-boat torpedoed her off the coast of Ireland. She sank in under 20 minutes. Nearly 1,200 people died. It was a civilian ship. The attack shocked the world and helped push American public opinion toward entering the First World War. She still lies on the seabed off Ireland today. This is Cutty Sark. She was one of the fastest tea clippers ever built, racing to bring home the season's first tea harvest from China. She survived decades at sea. Then, in 2007, she caught fire in dry dock during a restoration project. She nearly didn't survive it. She was rebuilt. Today, she's preserved in Greenwich, raised up so visitors can walk right underneath her hull. This is HMS Ark Royal. She was a Second World War aircraft carrier. She helped cripple the German battleship Bismarck, launching the torpedo strike that jammed her steering. German propaganda claimed to have sunk her over and over throughout the war. She survived all of it. In 1941, a single U-boat torpedo finally got her on the way back from Gibraltar. She's still remembered today in games like World of Warships and the Total War series. This is HMS Victory. She was Admiral Horatio Nelson's flagship at Trafalgar in 1805. Nelson was shot on her deck. He died below, reportedly saying, "Thank God I have done my duty." She carried over 800 men and more than 100 guns into that battle, and she survived. Britain won one of its most decisive naval victories. Today, she's the oldest commissioned warship still in existence. She never actually retired. She's still officially in Royal Navy service, preserved in dry dock at Portsmouth. This is SS Great Britain. She was designed by the engineer Isambard Kingdom Brunel. She was the first iron-hulled, propeller-driven ocean liner in the world. She had many lives: a luxury liner, a cargo ship, even a floating coal store. Eventually, she was scuttled and abandoned in the Falkland Islands. Decades later, she was salvaged and towed thousands of miles back to Bristol. She's now fully restored, sitting in the exact dry dock where she was built. This is HMY Britannia. She was the royal yacht used by the British monarchy for over 40 years. She carried the royal family across nearly 1 million nautical miles. She's famous for carrying Princess Diana and Prince Charles on their honeymoon. In 1997, she was decommissioned. It was an emotional ceremony. The Queen was reportedly visibly moved. She's now a museum ship in Edinburgh, preserved exactly as she was left. This is HMS Dreadnought. She launched in 1906. Her design was so revolutionary, all big guns, steam turbines, that she made every other battleship on Earth obsolete overnight. Her name became the generic term for that entire era of battleships. That word, dreadnought, lives on today. Games like EVE Online and Homeworld still use it to describe massive capital ships. This is HMS Beagle. She was a modest survey ship. Between 1831 and 1836, she carried a young naturalist around the world. His name was Charles Darwin. What he observed on that trip became the foundation for his theory of evolution. A ship built to chart coastlines ended up reshaping how we understand life on Earth. This is SS Great Eastern. She was another Brunel creation. For decades, she was the largest ship ever built. Her construction nearly bankrupted everyone involved. She struggled to find her footing as a passenger liner, but she found her true purpose in 1866, laying the first successful transatlantic telegraph cable. She physically connected Europe and North America for the first time in history. This is HMS Warrior. She was Britain's first iron-hulled armoured battleship, built in 1860. She was so far ahead of anything else afloat, no enemy nation ever dared challenge her. She never fired a shot in anger. Her mere existence kept the peace. After years of other uses, including as a floating oil jetty, she was fully restored. She now sits at Portsmouth Historic Dockyard. This is QE2. She was one of the most famous ocean liners of the 20th century. She served for nearly 40 years. She crossed the Atlantic hundreds of times. She even served as a troop transport during the Falklands War. She retired in 2008. Instead of being scrapped, she was sold and moved to Dubai. Today, she's a floating hotel. Guests sleep in cabins once used by royalty. This is HMS Belfast. She was a Second World War cruiser. She helped sink the German battlecruiser Scharnhorst. She supported the Normandy landings on D-Day, firing some of the first shots of the invasion. She survived the whole war. Today, she's permanently moored on the Thames, right next to Tower Bridge. She's also a playable ship in World of Warships. That's 20 ships, 20 completely different fates. Some still float, some are museums, some are war graves at the bottom of the ocean. Every one of them changed something: a battle, a science, a technology, or just the shape of ships that came after.